Here are 24 mistakes not to make if you want to retire on Tesla stock. I became an all-in Tesla stock investor in early 2019, and back then the stock dropped about 50% for one moment from where I invested to the lowest point in 2019. And that first time I was certainly nervous. However, what really helped me go through that period was having read the Elon Musk biography by Ashley Vance. Mistake number one is not having read the biographies of Elon Musk. There's one by Walter Isaacson, which you have to read, and then there's this one. Mistake number two is not trying Tesla's products yourself. I know some investors who have invested in Tesla stock without really having tried the product, and there's nothing too wrong about it, but what I have seen over and over again is after an investor actually tries the product, he becomes even more invested in Tesla stock. And many Tesla stock investors actually became Tesla stock investors because they tried the product and then they became so convinced that Tesla is going to take over, which it did. But if you are a Tesla stock investor, I highly recommend that if you do have a vehicle, that it is a Tesla vehicle. You will understand the company on just a much deeper level, and also you will actually know which things are problems and which are not. For example, when the Model 3 came out, so many people complained about the lack of screen here, and you had to look here just to see the speed of the vehicle. But because I drive a Tesla vehicle, I know it's not a problem at all. But if you do not own a Tesla vehicle, or if you haven't really tried it, then you're just taking other people's word. And usually investing into something just because someone else said something is a terrible idea. You want to have your own conclusions. I also find it actually to be fairly difficult to gauge how good FSD is just by looking at the videos. Now, just by looking at the videos, you may think you know how good it is, but when you actually try it yourself, you have such a better understanding of how the system works, where it is good and where it is not. A lot of people often, for example, do not post certain videos of FSD on YouTube because it's boring, it doesn't get views. Why would you post a drive of, let's say, 5 hours with an intervention here and there where the drive is boring, and you get to experience yourself how much better each version is? Mistake number 3. Not expecting Tesla to go through another crisis, or Elon Musk. One thing that I can certainly expect with Tesla and Elon Musk running Tesla is that Tesla will have a big crisis in the future, and so will Elon, and Elon might have a personal crisis. And I am convinced it is going to be huge. The controversy, the media, the press will run with whatever is happening, and they will make it a lot worse than what it will actually be. But it might still be pretty bad. That is just a part of being a Tesla stock investor. For example, one of the latest controversies about Elon Musk was his tweet on X. Supposedly, he's anti-Semitic, which obviously he is not. But the controversy happened anyway, which leads me to number 4, expect lots of negative media coverage about Tesla. And on top of that, also expect Elon at some time to sell Tesla stock. As a Tesla stock investor, you should expect Elon to sell Tesla stock in the future. If you look, for example, at Jeff Bezos, he pretty much sold some Amazon stock every single year. And generally, despite that, the stock has gone up and up and up and up and up. Elon wants to colonize Mars, so expect him to sell some Tesla stock to fund that dream. As long as Elon does not sell more than about, I would say, 10 or 15% in one single year, no alarms are going off when Elon is selling Tesla stock at my house. Over 10% though, I'm certainly looking at the situation very closely, but under 10%, under 5% especially, I'm not worried at all. The only thing I might be worried about is not buying enough Tesla stock if a buying opportunity presents itself just because Elon sold so much Tesla stock. Mistake number 5, and I see so many amateurs make this one: getting excited when Tesla stock goes up. Now, there's nothing really particularly wrong about getting excited. The problem arises when you get excited and then you let that excitement make decisions for you. You cannot do that. Well, you can do that if you want to lose money, but generally, it's a terrible idea to get excited and then just because you got excited, You want to mortgage your house, sell your car, put everything in a Tesla stock just because you're so excited. When you make big decisions, you want to calm down. Make sure you ate well, that you're not hungry, that overall you are stable. Take a break. Be quiet for half an hour, 1 hour. Go for a slow walk. Think it through, and then make your decision. Mistake number 6 is being upset when Tesla's stock is down. Because you see, when you get excited when the stock goes up, you will inevitably also be perhaps even depressed when the stock goes down. And that's a terrible way to live your life. When I bought Tesla stock last December of 2022, now the stock has doubled. You do not want to feel twice as smart because you just double your money. Because when the stock inevitably drops even a tiny bit, you will feel really stupid. And now, just because the stock dropped, let's say 50%, your IQ did not drop 50%. Mistake number 7, watching mainstream. Your main source of news is the mainstream media. When I became a Tesla stock investor in 2019, there weren't really any YouTube channels you could watch about Tesla stock. So I would just watch some of the mainstream media and I would have been better off not watching anything. I remember a series of headlines when Tesla stock was just dropping back in 2019. This one important executive left. This executive left. Is the whole company collapsing? Why are these important executives leaving? You have to understand that the media's job is not to necessarily deliver the news to you. The media's job is just to keep you watching. So scaring you is a good way to keep you watching. So do not watch mainstream media, or if you do, that shouldn't be your main or only source of news about Tesla. Number 8 is not following some good Tesla stock investors closely, because at some point, inevitably, if you don't watch the news often, something will happen and you will read the headline in the newspapers, or someone that you know will tell you, oh, have you heard Elon Musk just did this, and now there was also a big recall and Tesla is now going bankrupt. It's over. But if you just followed someone who invests into Tesla stock, you would have understood that, oh, that recall, that was just an over-the-air update. And that thing that they said Tesla is going bankrupt because, for example, the CFO left. Well, it turns out more likely he was actually fired. I'm talking about Zach. But if you don't watch Tesla investors closely, you don't watch news from them every day, then inevitably you will be caught off guard like that, and maybe you might even end up selling Tesla stock, which would be a huge mistake. Number 9 is a bit counterintuitive. Not watching Tesla bears at all. I personally actually watch some of the bears closer than I watch the bulls, because I'm already invested in Tesla stock. So naturally, I will see more good news usually. So I have to make an active effort to seek out some of the bad news. But I want to watch bears that are somewhat reasonable, but I want to watch everyone generally. Now this one, it's important to do it. You can easily make a mistake here. You don't want to only watch Tesla bears. What you want to do is you want to understand thoroughly what their arguments are. So you don't necessarily want to watch them every single day, but just whenever they have something new to say, I want to hear them out. Did they get smart now? Did they actually stop being stupid? And usually the answer is no. But once in a very rare while, they do have a point. The problem with a lot of these bears is they use very emotional language, occasionally with some facts, very occasionally. So when you listen to them, you want to ignore their emotionality and you just want to listen to their facts. And oftentimes these facts are somewhat made up. So then you actually want to double check, are these facts actually real facts? Or what you could do is you can just watch my channel, because whenever a bear says something, I cover it. And then you don't need to do the hard work of reading a lot of the seriously dumb comments from some of these bears. Mistake number 10 is investing too much in Tesla stock. And this may come across as a bit strange because the only stock that I own in my stock portfolio is Tesla stocks. It's not really a portfolio. But I have seen this one person that invested a bit too much in Tesla stock, and that person was really worried about the stock dropping, and that person would also get somewhat overly excited when the stock would be up, and that's not good because you get emotional. And that person actually sold some Tesla stock at a very bad time. It was a bit unfortunate. Then the stock went up a lot. Then that person bought Tesla stock, and then Tesla stock dropped again. I would say it was funny, but it was actually just sad. That largely happened because that person cared too much about what happened to the money because the amount invested was too much. One reason, out of many reasons, why I am so invested in Tesla stock is because, number one, I'm young, I have high income. If I lose all of my money, I could start all over again and I would be, it would not be fun, but I would be okay. On the flip side, mistake number 11 is investing too little in Tesla stock. I believe that Tesla stock is one of the biggest opportunities that we have currently. When you look at the risk to reward ratio, I think that ratio is exceptionally good. However, this leads me to mistake number 12, thinking that it is guaranteed that Tesla stock is gonna go up. For sure, 100%. That's the only outcome. Investing, unfortunately, is not that simple. It's probabilities. What are the chances that you will get in a car accident tomorrow? Extremely low. Are they zero? No. Have you ever been in a car accident? If you haven't, do you know someone who has been in a car accident? I have been in multiple car accidents, actually. It was never my fault. Which means things can go wrong, really wrong, even when it's not your fault. And this leads me to mistake number 13, thinking that Tesla stock will never go up after it drops a lot. Look, when I said it's a buying opportunity for Tesla stock a year ago in December when Tesla stock was close to $100, and this was on a day when Tesla stock dropped 11.41% in one single day, I said it's a buying opportunity. Some of the comments said that I was insane, that I lost it, that Tesla stock is never going up. But the only thing that was lost was the buying opportunity if you did not take advantage of it. There's one thing that we can all expect from Tesla. Tesla just does not stay in one place. Tesla stock moves up and down and up and down. It just does not stay flat. There's always some big movement going on. Up 10% in one day, down 10% the next day, up 5% another day, down 5%, down 4%, down 3%, down 7%, down 8%. Then it's up 10%, up 5%, up 2%, up 0%, up 7%. Expect big moves. Mistake number 14. And so many Tesla stock investors are guilty of this. Not expecting Elon to be extremely controversial. Elon speaks his mind. Elon will be controversial. If you don't like it, don't buy Tesla stock. He will say something and it will be a big story, a big negative story. You can complain about it, but the only thing that it does, if you complain about it, is just waste your time. You would be so much better off just spending that time working. You are not going to change Elon. So stop complaining or sell Tesla stock. Or keep complaining and keep your Tesla stock. Just know you're wasting your time. Mistake number 15. Not having a plan B. And this is mostly applicable to all-in Tesla stock investors or to those that are heavily invested in Tesla stock. If your stock portfolio is only made up of 10% Tesla stock, then I wouldn't really worry about this much. But if it is a very significant portion, then in the very, 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 very worst case, what would you do if Tesla stock dropped a lot and somehow never recovered? I think the likelihood of that happening is extremely low, but it's something to still think about. Number 16, not watching Tesla stock news daily. Now, this mostly applies to those heavily invested in Tesla stock, especially for all-in Tesla stock investors, because if all of your stock portfolio is in Tesla stock, if something, let's say it's really terrible happened that somehow permanently influenced the direction of Tesla in a very negative way, you do want to be ready to exit the stock if you have to. I think the chances of that happening are extremely low, but if you are all in Tesla stock, I think it's smart to do it. I would say you can make an exception if you are investing because you want to help Elon, or if you are a mission-driven investor. Number 17, and this is a big mistake, especially if you are heavily invested in Tesla stock, not having your own valuation model. I have my own. Every good investor has their own Tesla valuation model. You can find mine on Patreon if you like to. There's a link down below. Some also just like to copy my valuation model and then input their own assumptions. And then what I do is I just buy Tesla stock regularly every single month as long as I'm paying less than what I think Tesla stock is actually worth. As long as I'm paying less, I do not care what Elon said on X. I don't care what problems Tesla is going through. I don't care what anyone thinks. That really helps me stay very calm and very logical when Tesla stock drops a lot. Mistake number 18 is only following those people that never give any bad Tesla stock news. It's okay to follow them, but I don't think it is okay to only follow them. So I'm a fairly good person to follow because I will give you the bad news, but I will also give you good news. And when I do give you the bad news, I will cover it in a way where I will give you a perspective of a long-term Tesla stock investor, not someone who's trading. Which leads me to number 19. Mostly only following fund managers or those people that are focused on, oh, what is Tesla stock going to do next month or next year, and not in the next 5 to 10 years. Some fund managers actually care about the long term, but they care more about the short term, and they are obsessed about the short term, generally speaking. So if you mostly only follow fund managers, especially those that actively trade, I think it's a terrible idea. If you do want to follow a fund manager, a good one is Ron Barron. He does have a very long-term vision. Number 20 is not expecting some of the bulls to flip or change their mind. For example, Chicken Genius. He changed his mind completely. He even shorted Tesla stock at one point. He went from being one of the biggest bulls to shorting Tesla stock. Now, personally, I would never short Tesla stock. But over time, do expect to have some bulls go to the other side or just sell Tesla stock and leave the community. That's okay. People change, people move on, people go through different stages of life. It's normal. It does not mean that Tesla stock just got worse. Mistake number 21. Not spending at least as much time on your bear case as you do on your bull and base cases. Unless the amount that you invested in Tesla stock is relatively little. Then you can pretty much ignore the downside and just focus on the upside, because maybe you have 10 other stocks that you bought and 9 of them can go to zero, and if just one of them goes up a lot, you're still fine. Number 22 is seriously, viciously attacking other bulls. I think it is okay to have a very heated argument and to have a very heated exchange and to somewhat call each other out. I think that's fine. But I think if you can choose between constantly and always only calling out the bulls and not really the bears, I think we would be better off by focusing more on calling out the bears. Number 23 is trying to time the markets, especially the general stock market. If you're an average investor, don't do it, because look at this time period. From 2001 to 2020, an average investor had an average annual return of 2.9%. S&P 500 during that time returned 7.5%. One reason why that happens is because these people, they try to time the market. Pretty much every single super duper, incredibly, phenomenally successful investor, like Warren Buffett, Ron Barron, they do not try to time the market. What they do is they try to find companies that are incredible, and then they buy them. As long as they are paying less than what they think the company is worth, they keep buying. It doesn't matter if they think, oh, next month, maybe the stock is going to drop 20% or 30 or even 50%. The stock just a year ago was trading at $100, right now it's over $200. Yeah, it's too much, even though I think it's actually worth a lot more. No, I'm not buying it. I'm waiting for it to drop, and then it never does. And then the stock goes up, and then you buy in, and then the stock drops, and you get 2.9%. And number 24 is not sharing your Tesla stock thesis. Share it. Share it on X. Share it in a YouTube video. Share it in the comments. Try to engage with other people. The reason why you want to do that is you want to find other people that will look at your thesis and say, I'm not sure about that. And then you need to defend yourself. And if you cannot defend yourself well, you need to rethink your thesis. And there's one more mistake that for me was a big one. After I changed that approach, investing in Tesla stock just got really easy. When Tesla stock dropped in 2019, it was a bit difficult to go through that emotionally. Although having read the biography did help a lot, but I still made another mistake, which made that whole investing experience not very good. Anyway, I have that video on my Patreon. It's over 10 minutes long. If you do go there, just browse through the videos and look for one in the title about a Tesla investing mistake. My name is Matt Posius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.